Hi teacher, in this presentation we are going to talk about flag, anthem, symbols and national cultures of Great Britain. My group is made up by Luis Romero, Ana Racine, Karol Vergara, Steffany Corrales and Yulena Banquet.
Hi teacher, my name is Luis Fernando Romero, and in this opportunity I am going to talk about the Great Britain's flag. First, Wales' flag is an integral part of the UK, represented by the Union Jack. It is still a nation with its own identity and therefore still has its own national flag. It is made up of the red dragon of Karol, King of Gwynedd, standing with one foot and raised on a green and white background. As with any ancient symbol, the appearance of the dragon has been adapted and changed over the years, and hence several different variations exist. It must also always be pointing to the left. The current flag was officially adopted in 1959 and is based on an old royal badge used by since Tudor times, which consisted of green and white. The red dragon itself has been associated with Wales for centuries, and as such, the flag is claimed to be the oldest national flag it's in use. One legend records Romano British soldiers carrying the red of Draco to Rome their banners in the 4th century, but it could be even older than that. It is considered that the Welsh kings of Aberfro first adopted the dragon in the early 5th century in order to symbolize their power and authority. Second, Scotland flag. It is believed that around 16 AD, Saint Andrew, who became the patron saint of Scotland and who was one of Jesus' apostles, the younger brother of Simon Peter, was crucified. Legend says that he felt himself unworthy of being crucified on a cross that resembled the one Jesus died on, and so he hung on a saltire or diagonal cross. There's also a second theory about this detail, as some historians believe that Saint Andrew was crucified by the Romans in Greece, where this diagonal cross was more commonly used. The next part of the legend behind the flag of Scotland takes place over 700 years later in 832 AD. It's said that the night before, the Pictish king Angus II led his forces into battle against the English king Aethelstan's army of Angles and Saxons. King Angus had a vision or dream. In this vision, he saw Saint Andrew and was promised triumph in battle. Early the next morning, Angus' troops were awestruck by the sign of a huge white saltire cross shining against the background of a bright blue sky. This omen led the Scottish troops to victory, and the saltire found its place in Scottish history. Third, the United Kingdom flags. There was a union of the Scottish and English crowns on 24 March in 1603, when James V of Scotland became the King of England and Ireland as James I. In 1606, King James proclaimed that there would be one flag that would represent the whole of the United Kingdom, and it was created using the saltire of Scotland and the St. George's Cross. This was now as the flag of the Kingdom of Great Britain. At this time, Wales was considered to be part of the England, and it is therefore is represented on the flag as part of the English St. George's Cross. In 1800, the Act of Union enabled the kingdoms of Great Britain and Ireland to join together, and in 1801, the cross of St. Patrick's was added to the flag of the Kingdom of Great Britain to create the flag of the United Kingdom. The Union Jack flag we have and use today. The Union flag is one of the most distinctive flags in the world. It has formed the basis for many other countries' national flags and is often included as canton or similar in difference to past history and associations. Thank you.
Well, I continue with Wales Anthem. Every country has their own national anthem, and Wales Anthem is called Hen Glasedd Narel. That in English it translates to Land of My Fathers. What is the Welsh national anthem important? Since 1905, the Welsh national anthem has been played at sporting events, most notably rugby and football games. And the anthem proves to be a powerful tool for inspiration and Welsh pride. Hen Glasedd Narel is not officially the Welsh national anthem, as Wales is a part of Great Britain, which has its own anthem, God Save the Queen. Some facts about the history of the Welsh national anthem. The anthem pays tribute to some of Wales' famous poets and singers by mentioning them in the lyrics, prioritizing song and culture Welsh. And the anthem was included in the first known recording of the Welsh language in 1899, and the singer Madge Breeze included it in the collection of songs for the Gramophone Company. Now, about Scotland Anthem. What is the meaning behind Flower of Scotland? Well, the song is a historical piece referring back to the times of Scottish King Robert the Bruce and his victory over King Edward II, King of England, at the Battle of Manenberg in 3040. The basic thing is of rising up to protect the country and sending the English king home to think twice about invading Scotland again. So, who was crowned English army? The English army of King Edward II was defeated at the Battle of Bannockburn in 3040. His crown army was more than twice and six of Scotland and better equipped. Is Flower of Scotland about William Wallace? No, it is about Robert the Bruce and the medieval wars of independence. Official Scottish national anthem. The new Scottish Parliament declined the option to discuss an official national anthem for Scotland in 2003, and George Reid raised the motion but was told that the Parliament didn't currently hold the powers of grant a national anthem to Scotland. What is the national flower of Scotland? And this is the title. It is the national flower of Scotland. And finally, we have England anthem. Well, the British national anthem in its present form dates from back to the 18th century. The words and tune are anonymous and may date back to the 17th century. In September 1645, the young pretender to the British throne, Prince Charles Edward Stuart, defeated the army of King George II at Prestonpans, near Edinburgh, in a fit of patriotic fervor after news of Prestonpans had reached London, and the leader of the band at the Theatre Royal, Drury Lane, arranged "God Save the King" for performance after a play. It was a tremendous success and was repeated nightly. To conclude with this part, I can say that the British tone has been used in other countries. European visitors to Britain in the 18th century noticed the advantage of a country possessing such as a recognized musical symbol. In total, around 140 composers, including Beethoven and Brahms, have used the tune in their compositions.
There are three symbols of Wales national symbol are better known in some countries than in others. In Wales, they are usually on display and are emblems to be worn with pride. These are the three main symbols of Wales. The first is the red dragon. The first mention of the red dragon is in the Magi, Mabinogion, when a red dragon fought against an invading white dragon. The symbol was used by the Romans at the time of the Emperor Trajan. The Tudors adopted the red dragon as a symbol in the Welsh-born King Henry VII. The red dragon is the symbol of the Wales that appears on the national flag. 2. The daffodil. It is another popular emblem of Wales, especially on March 1st. Mr. Davis Day is an association with Wales began in the 19th century, but it's become more famous in the early 20th centuries, when the Welsh Prime Minister David Lloyd George wore one of Sweet David's Day, and at the investiture ceremony of the then Prince of the Wales. Well, the third, the led according to legend, Sir David advised the Britons to wear on their helmets when fighting the Saxons in order to distinguish friends from foes. This story has versions related to different battles throughout history, and it is also said that the Tudor green and white color originally came from the leg. The leg is worn on St. David's Day and in some Welsh regiments. It is traditional for soldiers to eat a right leg on that day. Well, Scottish symbols and their signification. Scotland is a country rich in heritage, history, and culture. As such, there are many Scottish symbols that represent everything that the Scots are proof of. From the national flag to the beautiful national bird, the golden eagle, the Scotch taslet, a soldier from an invading Norse army, stepping on the thorny flower, and his cries awoke the sleeping Scots. After successfully fighting off the Norse invaders, they adopted the thistle as their national flower. The purple flower also represented centuries of the Scottish heraldry. Purple thistle against the blue sky, the Scotch thistle is the national flower of Scotland. The mystical Scotch unicorn. The Scots adopt the mystical creature as their national animal. First, the unicorn appeared on the Scottish royal coat of arms of William in the 12th century. Then it appeared on the gold coin in the 15th century under King James III. Since then, the Scottish unicorn have appeared on everything from coats of arms to magnificent statues in Scottish attractions and castles. Well, the majestic golden eagle. Although unofficial, the golden eagle is widely regarded as Scotland's national bird. This enormous bird of prey, the eagle symbolizes strength, power, and freedom, and you can see this image on historic cities, place, names, and signage through the country. Well, St. Andrew Saltary Flat. The Saltary flag is blue with a white diagonal cross. It represents St. Andrew, who is said to have been crucified on a cross in Greece. Carried into many battles over the centuries, the Saltire have become one of the most iconic and proof Scotsman symbols. Lion Rampant, Friars and Proof. The Lion Rampant is the royal standard of the Scotland. The yellow flag and red lion standard erect on its hind legs. Is class ready to attack. Some say it truly represents the history of battle in Scotland and national pride. Well, for the end, the symbols of England between 1455 and 1485. The English Civil War broke out. It became known as the War of the Roses, as it pitted the two houses against each other. When Henry VII became king, he united the warring house by marrying Elizabeth of York and placing the white robe of the House of York inside the red robe of the House of Lancaster. Thus was created the Tudor Rose, or as it is often called, the flower of England. Well, the lion, as you may expect, represents the image that the King of the England went to have. Firstly, strong, the King of Best. However, the lions have been symbol of the power for much longer than the English have. They used them in their heraldic arms. Going all the way back to the Lion of Judah when Henry I, now of the Lion of England, used the image of the lion on a banner. This was to inspire his troops as they went into battle. He later married the list, and to commemorate of the occasion added another lion, which came from his family, created then in 1154. Henry II married Eleanor of Aquitaine and added another lion, as she was one of his family coats of arms. Thank you.
This culture has its roots in the United Kingdom's rich history. The people of the four countries, England, Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland, that is made up of each with their own unique tradition and custom. Things unique about British people. The British are punctual. Being late is in some cases considered to be rude. Please, thank you, and sorry are a normal part of every conversation and interaction. Some people are simply bothered by how polite British people are. The British have seen how a more respect for older adults, and they visible if you are on public transportation. You are expected to get up your seat if someone who is disabled or older comes into the trams, and there is no other seat. British people often avoid stand eye contact. They find it uncomfortable and intimidating. If you are invited to the home of native British person, it's not normal to bring along gifts such as chocolate, flowers to say thank you. The British food. The British food is a blending of four different cultures and countries that brought in UK. For example, the first dish, Scotch eggs, are a dish containing a meat edge covered with sauce and meat and fried. Shepherd's pie. The shepherd's pie is usually cooked with meat and mashed with ring of potato. And finally, full English breakfast. The typical English breakfast is rich with ingredients include bacon, sausage, eggs, toast, tomatoes, and tea or coffee. British languages. English, as you may have guessed it, is the official language and the main language spoken in the United Kingdom. From over 16.5 million citizens that lie in the country, rule 98% of the English as the first language. But there are also other native languages spoken across the country that will evolve during the history of UK. Other than English in the UK, there are official native languages: Welsh in Wales, Gaelic and Scots in Scotland, Irish and Ulster Scots in the North Ireland, Cornish in Cornwall, England. Art in UK. Art is an important part of the British history and culture. Many British artists create irreplaceable artwork whose spelling influences many artists from all around the globe. Traces of British art development take us back to the prehistoric periods. The Stone Age, building around 2600 BC, is clearly the oldest British artwork we know until now. The influence of Roman conquest and other preceding historical age are still present in United Kingdom.
Scotland has been handing down its traditions for close to 1,000 years now, since the earliest days of the clans in the 12th century. However, Scottish traditions are not sunk under glass and museum. Culture can be traced back almost 1,000 years, and it is just as alive today as it has ever been. From the ancient clans of the 12th century, each generation has their own cultural thumbprint, creating a unique and vibrant country. Scottish music. From Celtic music to pop and rock, Scotland is home to a wealth of internationally renowned bands and musicians, currently gracing stages, studios, and soundtracks around the world. English is the main language spoken in Scotland today and has been since the 18th century. However, there are a wide range of different accents and dialects spoken across the country.